I want to name one of my sons after a Russian, or
Which
Russian.
Russian?
Well, a guy that I was fighting in judo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just because it's a vivid memory because I'd fight him like every 3 weeks or something. I'd see him there and fight him, and he was. I think he ended up with a brown belt at the end, but he always should have been like fucking top level. He's like, it's just you can't do anything to him, you know. It's like you can't fucking move him, and like he'll just fucking throw you about. There's a nightmare, and you'd grab up and grapple, and like fucking everything had hurt, and then you'd be sort of trying to play a bit defensive, and he'd say, "Come on, come on, just come on." And then you try something, and he just fucking throw you. Yeah, just a monster. And Viktor, I just think such a strong name. Viktor, winner.
Yeah.
Victor,
Yeah.
victory, Viktor. So I like it. I like VKT, Victor. I like it. A strong name.
Can we stay on this particular topic of names? Because I've actually thought about this one. I've got a lot to give you. Names are so important. When you name your kids, you need to really be aware of what the name means. It's funny, I was talking to my parents. They didn't know. They just chose the names on the sounds. They didn't know what they actually meant. And then I looked into it, and I was so fucking pleased. I want to start with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a Scottish name, and um, Donald is a name of a king. It's a king's name, and Trump means herald. And oh no, sorry, Donald is actually king of the world. It's not king; it's king of the world, Donald. And I'm part Scottish, and I'll tell you what my Scottish name means. But Donald Trump means herald to the king of the world. And what did he become? The US president. Arguably the most powerful leader in the world. My name, Duncan, that's my Scottish middle name, means dark-haired warrior. And I've got dark hair, and I do kickboxing.
What about this name?
Go on.
Christopher.
Well, that's like Christ. That comes from Christ? That's a Christian name, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think I heard something in the name, something else in the name, and I've not verified it. But Christ, and what's the other part?
Philosopher.
Offer.
Offer.
Offer to Christ. Christ offer. I don't know if that's what it's from.
No. But the sound is there. The sound is really there, and it reminds me of the sons of Isaac, or the Saxons. Saxons, sons of Sax, sons of Isaac.
Yeah. So I've been thinking, what would I want to call my kids? I don't know if Nelson. I like Nelson. I like Nelson. I like Viktor. I like Christopher. I don't think I'd necessarily want the oldest to be a Viktor or a Nelson. Might have the oldest be a Christopher. I'd rather or a Joseph. I'd rather that the oldest was a carer and protector of the younger ones rather than a monster tyrant. I'd rather be the tyrant than have the eldest son be the tyrant. Want the young strongs to be strong, and it's hard to be strong if you live under the shadow of your brother rather than your father, right?
Yeah. I really like the names. I was kind of thinking using the names of my father, because I have two middle names, and it'd be nice to, because in Italy, in the Italian tradition, the firstborn son always takes the name of his grandfather. So all the men in a family have like three different names, but it's all of the grandfather, and it's the way that they keep the names in the family. And it's just a very beautiful idea. There are lots of amazing names. I really like the name Jack because it's the anglicized version of Jacob, of course, like descendants of Jacob, but it's also very English, Jack,
Yeah.
and around, yeah, it's kind of like, I imagine a sailor boy or something, with the name Jack or something.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's so many amazing names. I mean, it's also interesting, all the names of the apostles, those are very common English names. I think they've gone out of fashion, but they're all, yeah, they're all names that English people took.
I want to read a Bible quote and to get your view on it. I'm going
Okay,
to
I'm listening.
riff, but so the quote is Psalm 127, 3-5. Lo, children are heritage of the Lord. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them.
Well, it's interesting because it's drawing the comparison perhaps between the idea of a man having a family and the capacity for war and being able to fight. Um, and obviously, well, if you want an army, you need soldiers.
Mhm,
Um, what better than your sons?
mhm.
Many great generals who had their sons command in battle. Um,
You see how that'd snowball if you're several men of tribes, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, okay, Julius Caesar, he came from the Julii. I mean, that's a family. It was a Roman family of men who went out and commanded legions and fought, and it culminated eventually in Julius Caesar. So I think names are so important, and they define who you are.